Hello, my name is Han. Today I have a Rush gameplay for you guys. Finally managed to get one with the huge hassle of having to press the record button every 5 minutes thanks to the Xbox built-in DVR. But this game was actually pretty good and I can finally talk about Rush now. Rush was my favorite game mode back in Bad Company 2. But unfortunately it's been getting progressively worse and worse through each release. Battlefield 3, it was pretty hit or miss whether you'd get a good game or just one where one of the teams was absolutely crushing the other team. Like, it was maybe 50-50 whether it'd be a good game or not. But here in Battlefield 4, I'd say it's gone down to maybe about 25% good, decent games, and 75% games where one team just absolutely crushes the other. And that's really too bad. Hey, Tank, I think you've gotten lost. This is our spawn. Wait for it, wait for it. And kablams. But anyway, I think the reason the quality of Rush has just been going down more and more with each game it really has to do with map design more than anything else. Back in Bad Company 2, the maps were actually designed around specific game types, while here in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, they try to make the maps first and then fit the game modes into the maps and try to fit them all in, and I think that's where they're going wrong. And that's an even bigger problem considering how many new game modes they have here in Battlefield 4. And I'm not really saying this game has bad map design either. I actually really like most of the maps in this game. It's just they just don't work for all game modes. Game modes that only use like a small portion of the map, like Domination and Team Deathmatch, they're always going to be fine because you can just take a big map and find the best place for small infantry skirmishes and you'll be fine. Just make that the Team Deathmatch map. But for the huge objective type games, it's really hard to find a balance that'll make a good conquest map and a good rush map all in one. That's not to say it can't be done, but it's just really limiting when you're trying to make it work for both, and they really haven't done that. They've tried to make the maps diverse, which is good, but you can't make it diverse and also work for all game modes. It just can't be done. And I think the best way to fix this, they really don't even have to do anything with the game at all. All they'd have to do is do some kind of study, find which maps work best in which game modes, and then set up their official servers so that it limits the maps to only the maps that work well in the game mode that they're doing. Which is kind of how they did it in Bad Company 2, except you still get the option here to play Rush on all the maps if you want to, or Conquest on all the maps if you want to. But the official servers, you should just have some that just limit the maps to what works for each game mode. Now in Bad Company 2, it made it so you just couldn't play Conquest on certain servers, or Rush, on maps, or Rush on certain maps. And that worked really well, but here you can still give them the option to play on the maps that aren't really great for those game modes, but still have the choice to go into servers that have a certain playlist that are meant specifically for certain maps on certain game modes. Like, I know you guys on PC with private servers can do things like that, but for us on console, we only have official servers, and they play all the maps on all the game modes, so there's no real choice. And that's really too bad, because I think Battlefield 4 should make some more maps that are really good for Rush. I mean, it seems like they focus way more on making maps around Conquest first, and then trying to fit the other game modes into it. I think they should make some more specific Rush maps, because this game mode just really doesn't work as well as it did in the other games. And that's a real shame, because Rush it's mine, and I know it's a lot of people's perfect balance as in a game mode. Like, it's mostly infantry, and I like that, but vehicles are there, and they do play a part in the battle. And that's my personal ideal battlefield. Mostly infantry with some vehicles thrown in for support and just to mix things up. And one more thing I want to talk about is coming up here. I get killed a couple times coming up, and I end up switching to the Assault kit. And I just want to remind you guys that, hey, if you're going to a part of the map or you're not doing well with a certain kit, go ahead and switch. You don't have to stay with the same kit the whole game. Because the way this map works is it starts out way wide open, long distances between the different MCOMs. But then coming up here in the end, it's like close quarters, city type battles, and sniper rifle really doesn't work in these kinds of situations. So just remember, if you spawn in as a certain class, there's nothing holding you to that class for the entire game. And this rule applies especially for Rush, since in Rush you go through each part of the map one part at a time. And just like on this one, the map can change quite a bit throughout the entire game. Because as you're about to see, when I switch to that assault kit, I end up just destroying the other team. If I would have stuck with the recon class, I probably would have just gotten killed about 6 more times and gotten probably maybe 1 or 2 more kills. And here I'm using the L85A2. This was actually my favorite assault rifle in Battlefield 3, but it's actually changed a lot. And even though it's changed, somehow it's still one of my favorite guns, even though it's completely different from the way it was back in the last game. Like, it changed completely. It went from being a slow rate of fire, great gun for long range, to something that shoots really fast and has great hip fire. And the attachments I'm using right now are the stubby grip to make it a little more accurate. It's I think it's the least accurate assault rifles, even though you don't really notice it in game. The stats say that it's the least accurate assault rifle. And then I use the muzzle brake because it's got a high rate of fire. Its recoil isn't bad on its own, but its high rate of fire makes it kick quite a bit. And then the laser sight to make its good hip fire great. So if you haven't tried this loadout before, I would definitely recommend it. It's just amazing at close range. It works pretty well at medium range, and it works surprisingly well at long range too. Like, if you tap fire, you can really get people at some surprising distance, considering that this gun is meant for close range. And I'm racing my teammate over to this objective, but he gets there a little before me, so I don't get the plant. But it's fine. It's the team that matters, not my points. And I'm not exactly sure how to explain what's about to happen here. I'm here guarding the MCOM. I see a bunch of my teammates are dying outside, so I jump out the window to try to help. Teammate kills him. I notice my teammates down here, revive one, go to finish this guy off, and somehow I accidentally switch my gun into single fire. And I didn't even notice this, because now I'm shooting at this guy on single fire. I have to quickly press down on the D-pad to get it to burst fire so I can finish that guy off. Luckily I do it and finish him off. And that's about this game coming to a close. For some reason the scorecard at the end didn't capture, but I just went on to battle log and I put the screen up so you can see. It's kind of blurry. Actually I think it's just the replay I'm watching right now. It should be okay. I went 24-6, got 1 plant. So if you liked the video, rate it, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and thanks for watching.